President's report. Madam President, that's a new one. Okay, I love it.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Suddenly the table got very full. All of it. It's good to see everyone here. Thank you. You have the agenda before you there. We've got actually now one recommendation that will be coming to the board from the Finance Committee, and that is a resolution authorizing the initiation of a comprehensive condition assessment of First Horizon Park and the engagement of Cumming Group Management to help us procure a qualified consultant. There are also, in the Finance Committee report, you will hear more about what went on this morning. Additionally, we have reports from the Sounds, from Cumming Group, our stadium construction representative, and of course the Titans monthly report. So it's a pretty straightforward agenda this morning. Are there any questions? All right. Well, from time to time, we like to give updates of some of the civic events that have happened in the parking lot. We don't get to do it a lot, but this morning we're really pleased to have John Miller with Music City Head Race. They had their annual event on October the 11th. And John, come on up to the table, John. He's been leading this event for 9 years. And it is one of the largest events that we have in terms of Sports Authority parking lot events, and they really just do a great job, and it's a great day of rowing, so he's going to speak a little bit about that.
Thank you for having me. So as Monica mentioned, we just...
You can take it out.
All right. Is that better? As Monica mentioned, we just celebrated our 9th edition of the regatta. We started in 2016. We've held it every year with the exception of during 2020. The regatta is comprised of middle school, high school, collegiate, and adult athletes. We get teams that come from all over the country, a lot from the Midwest and the South. We've had teams from Florida, teams from Oklahoma, and up into Michigan and Minnesota. We had a fairly humble beginning at first, probably about 20 teams and 150 boats that competed. Our peak, we've had 60 teams and 650 entries. And you have a variety of shells you can see in the photo here. We host the boats out of the northwest portion of Lot R and into the northeast portion of Lot R as well. And we get a lot of great feedback from the teams that come to our event. We're one of the few regattas where all of the boats are stored on pavement, which is a big help for the size of those trailers. You can see most of them are essentially the length of a semi-truck. So we can fill all of the equipment in there. And then for the athletes and the spectators to have parking that's easily accessible has been critical to our growth and the success of the regatta. In a peak year, we are one of the largest one-day regattas in the country. And it's hosted by the Friends of Vanderbilt Rowing Club and the Nashville Rowing Club are the ones that put on this event. So we feel very fortunate to work with the number of entities who we work with. That includes, but not limited to, obviously the Sports Authority, TWRA, the Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Coast Guard. We do close the river for 2 days. We are one of the longest river closures on the Cumberland, which I expect some of the companies that use it aren't thrilled with that, but we're very grateful for their accommodation, and we work closely with them to make sure that the barge traffic goes in between days of the regatta and before and after. So a lot of dependency on local support, and very appreciative for use of the parking lot and what we've been able to do to grow this regatta. And we're excited to have the 10th annual next year. We are understanding of the changes going on around the stadium and trying to determine if we can continue to be on that bank or if we need to shift to the downtown side. So that's something on our radar in the short and long term. I do believe that we could work with the local entities and the Coast Guard to have it be a 2-day regatta. One thing that I want to do is make sure that we grow at the right pace, and it often backfires on a regatta if they jump to 2 days too early in their life cycle. and there's a lot of very long established regattas. We kind of came in after a lot of regattas already existed. And so I think if we got to 800 or 900 entries, we would then shift to a 2-day regatta. But I think we could work closely enough with the Coast Guard and with local entities to make that happen.
It's fascinating. Thank you.
I was actually out there, and it really, I was very impressed by everything that I saw, and just the athletes, and maybe you could speak to some of the universities and collegiate programs that were there. And I think Tennessee was there, and Clemson.
Yeah, we had Tennessee, we have Clemson, Michigan, Purdue, Grand Valley have come from the Midwest. Louisville, women's Division I team has attended the last 2 years, and we've gotten a ton of great feedback from them, and we're appreciative that a program like that makes the trip down to race against us. But a lot of SEC, a lot of ACC schools, and then we often get crews from Louisiana as well. We've had Tulane, Northwestern State, LSU. So a lot of the colleges that you've heard of and would think of want to make a trip to Nashville to race in a competitive event.
And then in terms of high schools, NBA, Harpeth Hall, what are some of the other maybe local programs?
Yeah, NBA and Harpeth Hall have programs. Nashville Rowing Club think of that as similar to a club soccer team that recruits athletes from a lot of different high schools. Every now and then they have enough athletes from programs where they can enter as that school as well. That's happened with St. Cecilia, University School of Nashville, and some other local schools. And then we certainly see Macaulay, Baylor, GPS from Chattanooga make the trip up. And then it's a lot of club programs. So think of that as area programs recruiting from a lot of different areas. This year we had SA Rowing Club from Atlanta Juniors, Cincinnati, and St. Louis. So in terms of the junior scene, some very competitive kind of powerhouse club programs that perform very well on the national level.
I love this. Did you say this was the 9th year?
Yes, the 9th.
Wow. I appreciate the visual because it tells us how big of an event it was, and ironically, I'm not familiar with it. So I look forward to getting out there and checking it out the next go around.
Well, thank you very much. We typically set our date in the spring. We're a little bit at the mercy of the football schedule and some of the other entities that leverage the space. We're typically targeting either the 2nd or the 4th weekend of October. And that also, to your 2-day regatta question, the shifting of date has limited us a little bit. Most regattas do not shift dates. And so we have a core group of teams that prioritize our event and will come regardless of the weekend, and then some fringe teams that come depending on the weekend.
Understood.
Any other questions, comments?
All right. Thank you very much.
Monica, I'll turn it
Thank
back
you.
to
I forgot that was part of my report. Really, most of what we have been working on, I would say as a team and in our office, you see on the agenda. And a lot of it has been around the bollards and trying to look at security issues and how we, as a board, can help impact that piece. And so you'll hear more about that in a second. But really, the only other thing I would say is I want to thank everyone who was able to attend the lunch and learn that we had. And that was our first time doing that. And we hope to do maybe 3 a year. And so I want to thank Ben York, the CEO, president of the East Bank Development Authority, for speaking, and for Heather for also being there. And thank you, of course, for all of you who were able to come. If there are no questions for me, that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you, Monica. The Finance Committee did meet just prior to this meeting this morning, so I'm going to invite Director Dan Hogan, Finance Chair, over there for that report. Dan.
Good morning. Yes, the Finance Committee had a lot to talk about this morning at 9:30. We began with Shannon Myers, who shared a summary of completed ongoing capital projects at the old Nissan Stadium. Total project cost from September 2023 through October 1st of this year is $3.34 million. Titan's quarterly requisition for capital project expenses and $2.89 million has been reimbursed to date. And I don't recall, what was the cap? 42 million is the cap, so we're well under. Completed projects submitted for reimbursement include electrical and lighting project for some parking lots, portable vehicle barriers, handicap ramps, sidewalk installation, and a fire safety project. So we then considered a resolution authorizing the purchase of portable security bollards for use by the Sports Authority and MNPD. And we considered an MOU for the Sports Authority and MNPD. We actually decided to defer on this because there are still some unanswered questions regarding storage of the equipment that we are proposing to buy, ultimately who would be in charge of storage and moving these equipments, who would be trained. We have a lot of questions that we'd still like to vet, and we'll be meeting with the police department, I think, here imminently to answer some of those questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add about our discussion that we had this morning?
No, I think it was a very healthy discussion, and we want to make sure that as we look to purchase bollards potentially and enter into an MOU with the police to see how are we going to govern the use of these, because there will be a shared use. We just want to make sure that we have all of our bases covered, and so I think there are clearly some things that need to be nailed down, and we'll be working hard to do that.
And I did want to thank Lieutenant Hampton and Commander Jones for being here again. You guys are welcome anytime. We may need you next month too. And then lastly, we considered approval of a resolution authorizing the initiation of a comprehensive condition assessment for First Horizon Park and the engagement of Cumming Management Group to assist in procuring a qualified consultant to conduct this assessment. Cumming has provided a quote for the procurement in a not to exceed amount of $35,000. We do have sufficient funds at the authority, and under the lease agreement, the Sports Authority of Metro is responsible for all capital expenditures at Horizon Park. The ballpark opened in 2015. 2015. This assessment will be a vital tool for understanding future capital planning and budgeting, and the Finance Committee recommended approval.
Right. You've heard the recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve a resolution also authorizing the initiation of a comprehensive condition assessment for First Horizon Park and the engagement of Cummings Group to assist the Sports Authority in procuring a qualified consultant to conduct the assessment. There's a second. Any discussion, questions, comments? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay, and the motion passes.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Director Hogan. Next on the agenda, we're going to hear from Adam English and Doug Scopel, and they are going to give us the update on First Horizon Park. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. We're always happy to host you guys here at First Horizon Park. Before we get into the kind of year in review for us, I'm going to pass it over here to Doug. We're going to give you guys an update on the ongoing discussions around a new scoreboard project.
Yeah, good morning. Doug Scopel, Assistant GM for the Nashville Sounds and First Horizon Park. So as Dan just mentioned, ballpark opened in 2015. We just finished our 10th season here. I still call it the new ballpark. It feels like it just opened, but we're 10 years in, 11 years in, 10 seasons, thanks COVID. As you all probably aware, every January we come before the Finance Committee and the full board to talk about our camp, our capital improvements plan, and something that we've mentioned the last couple of years as we look ahead to larger future spends is our scoreboards here at the ballpark. Couple of the board members that were out late in the season, Kim, Russ, maybe others, reached out and noticed we were having some issues with the boards, and they're definitely starting to show their age. We knew this was coming. We've brought it up in the past. This year, proactively, at some guidance from Monica and her staff, we reached out to some vendors to look at what that process and potential cost would look like. And I'll back up to say that through that process, everyone is telling us that just because of the nature of the climate we have here, we have outdoor scoreboards that are out in the heat, the rain, whatever weather conditions come along. 10 years is pretty much an expected lifespan of a board. You know, each year the weather could be different. So next year, our 2026 season, we're going into basically year 12, 11th season of the existing boards. And as I said, they're starting to show their age. Really, the issue is that, you know, think about technology. Anything that we use with technology, this board was built and engineered with parts that were designed and produced in 2013, 2014. Think about like your offices and stuff. Like, I don't know anybody that's still using maybe a laptop that came out in 2013. You want to update that technology a little more often. And 10 years is about the timeline for a scoreboard. And so, you know, the issue we run into is as we do with this whole building, we maintain it to the best of our ability at the highest level. We're hitting things where the parts that we need to replace are not being produced anymore. Though that stopped being produced probably 2 or 3 years ago. Now we're relying on refurbished parts, and you never know what you get with the quality and quantity of those being available. And especially this last year, we've really seen that kind of roadblock really ramp up to the point where it is time for it. What all goes into the board? I mean, so here at the ballpark, we have the big guitar scoreboard out in the outfield. That's one of 4 boards that we currently have. We also have a big LED wall in left field, and then we have 2 boards on our fascias from the club level, which you can't see from our vantage point here when you look out. But if you're out in the outfield, you see those 2 ribbon boards that are there. So all of those will need replacement as we go through this process. I think what we've determined so part of the initiative that we took on with some guidance from the Sports Authority staff was to figure out what is this going to potentially look like, so we make sure we had the right number in mind as we all go through the budgeting process. We brought in 3 industry leaders. They're not the only 3 that are out there that could work, but they're 3 that, especially in the baseball, minor league, major league world, are in the majority of all of those venues throughout the country. And that's Major League, minor league. There's 180 pro ballparks that are out there. These 3 companies do the majority of those. All of them came on site for at least 1, 2 of them multiple site visits to really dig in, see what we have, look at our plans, look at the issues, just get their boots on the ground to get a good feel for this. Came back with just some general numbers. Obviously, it was a preliminary. Here's what we think this is going to cost. They're all a little bit different. We know that that's not the thorough part of this, that there are next levels, which we can talk about here in a minute. But that's where we are at in the process. I think this will be something that we'll be talking to the board about in the next month or 2. But I just wanted to give some background on that need and kind of where we're at from an urgent standpoint as we move forward. And I'll let Adam kind of chime in, and we'll take questions as we go.
Sure. And the reason we're bringing it up now is typically we come to this board in January with our capital expenditures for requests for 2026 and beyond. That because of the timing of something like this would be for a brand new board for the 27 season. That means that construction of this project would need to start, as early as possible after our 2026 season in October. And again,
sorry, prior to that, there are several months worth of engineering and design that has to happen, and parts being ordered so they can be ready to start that process.
And because we just got general bids, we understand the process that this board will have to go through with, a formal RFP and best pricing and all of that kind of stuff. So wanted to potentially bring it up to you guys and answer any questions that you might have regarding the project now as we move forward into November and December.
Y'all going to continue the present design of the scoreboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Director.
The last game I went to, literally half of the guitar scoreboard was out. Is it?
It's
so that's
still
been
out.
repaired?
We had the bottom right corner.
Half of the outage has been repaired. We are waiting on parts to.
Okay, because I thought I noticed it when we walked
Yeah,
in.
Tennessee
Yes.
baseball is playing here on Sunday.
Right. Yes,
and
go Vols.
yeah, and we can move which quadrant is out. We found that out yesterday. We've had people coming out here to work on the boards, but ultimately there needs to be a piece of equipment fixed that is not going to be ready for Sunday.
But it will be, it's in process for next season. We feel
Yes,
good
ma'am.
that you'll get the
Yes,
entire
ma'am.
visible.
When we talk about funding for the scoreboard, is that in such an amount that maybe we need to keep it prioritized away from everything else that we've got to do and just present it just solely as a scoreboard.
So I've had several conversations with Metro Finance, finance directors, and they are all aware of the need and the urgency to address the scoreboard. And so we are working through that and trying to determine what the plan is going to be financially. So, I mean, I think you're right. We've got a lot of things out there and things that we're talking about spending money on, but we know what our priorities are, and we will make sure that that we are diligent and that there is money to address what we need to as we work with the finance department.
Director McGee?
Thank you. I haven't studied the scoreboard, but can you help us understand what actually needs to be replaced? Is that, in my mind, I'm like, is it detachable? Is the hardware detachable from the exterior frame?
Yes, great question, and I've got a list of items I can go through. So the structure that supports them will not need to be replaced here, but it's basically all of the guts that support that. And the list is LED panels. That's the obviously most visible one that produces the visual you see. But behind that, you have power supplies, video cards, processors, fiber cabling, low voltage cabling. All of those age, all of those wear out, again, due to the climate we're in, elements. I mean, even on indoor boards at some of the facilities, they're going to have to deal with this, but it times out quicker when you're in the outdoor atmosphere. So all of that goes in the background.
So for clarity, we're not looking to purchase a new design of the scoreboard. Okay.
No. They will look at it and engineer it within what we have here. And I will say, over the year, we have parts, we buy parts. We have been, fixing this as we've gone along, but we're now hitting that time where we're not able to find what we need quickly or at all for some of these parts. And we've been advised by people in the industry that, like, by 2027, all that stuff that's out there that people are grabbing as they can get it will be pretty much all depleted.
And unfortunately, the scoreboard is the most frustrating and most visible thing when it breaks, right? Like if something happens in a game, we can't just say, well, hey, everybody, give us 30 minutes. We're going to hard reboot this whole thing. Like we're playing a baseball game. And so there's a lot of things that happen during a game that we can mask, and most fans won't know that something went wrong. Unfortunately, that puts our staff in the control room, puts our staff in here in a really tough spot and a really frustrating spot when it is nearing end of life. So the goal would be to make that better.
And I do want to add that as we've had these conversations with the industry leaders in the scoreboard space, they are all very clear as we've talked to them, and they'll share more as we go through more of the process, that if and when we purchase from them, they're going to cap out at 10 years of support and parts just because that's the way the industry is. So it's not an arbitrary kind of timeline. That's kind of where that portion of the industry is as far as lifetimes.
Director Hogan?
You mentioned that there's several months of planning and design. You also mentioned you generally come to us in January with these requisition requests. Are you preparing to come to us next month with something because you need more time before opening day? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have all of that projections and quotes? Okay, perfect. That's all I need to know. Thank you. Right?
Monica, do you want to address the process a little bit better?
In the Finance Committee, we talked about a condition assessment study for First Horizon Park and the need to run a procurement. And this will be something similar. And so to Doug and Adam's point, we know who the industry leaders are. A lot of numbers, preliminary numbers have been put forth. But we also believe in open and competitive procurements and bids. And so our expectation is that maybe next month we come back again with Coming Group, because we would like to also get started on the solicitation. The hope is that the information that we get from the condition assessment will also, because they're going to need to look at the scoreboard clearly, will also inform and give us some more information. But I think that these two procurements are kind of going to need to run concurrently, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Dan, I'll add that as we've talked to the three vendors that we've talked to, I think they've all made clear that if they are awarded the business by end of first quarter of next year, that will be a sufficient timeline for them to do their preparedness to be ready to start a construction in October.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, just the lead up there, because we're talking about for 2027.
Understood.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Not, we do understand your frustration, so we will be looking forward to hearing those numbers, hopefully at the next meeting.
Sounds great. We can move into our presentation here. I'll call it in a second. It was another great season for us out here at First Horizon Park. Where am I aiming this? Probably not. Our team on the field was fantastic. We were almost 20 games over 500, which is always nice. And you saw the run that the Milwaukee Brewers made with the best record in Major League Baseball. And that awesome picture right there is of Landon, who is our honorary player. He signed a contract with us through our partnership with Vanderbilt Health. It's one of our favorite things that we do every year. But I love giving you guys kind of the sights and sounds and all the high points of our season. We were fourth in minor league baseball in attendance at 120 teams. North of 500,000 fans came through First Horizon Park just for baseball games again. That's the seventh consecutive year more than 500,000 fans have come through our stadium. Some of the highlights here on our giveaways. This is a full list of them. You guys all have this presentation in front of you. I think my favorite giveaway was of our manager, Rick Sweet, who has a very distinguishable mustache, and it was a bobblehead that his head didn't bobble, just his mustache did. So it was a bobble stash that we got a lot of great press on. We continue to focus on our alternate identities, our Copa de la Diversión identity, as well as the 9 with honoring Butch McCord out here during the 9 weekend to celebrate the history of Sulphur Dell and a lot of the African-American players that came through First Horizon Park. I mentioned our alternate identities. We had Nashville Hot Chickens right around, Hot Chicken, the Hot Chicken Festival. We did a number of Vihuelas de Nashville games. I mentioned the 9. We also introduced a new Elite Giants navy blue jersey June 19th through 21st. And one of our most fun alternate identities, the Nashville Brewskis, we wore, I think, 5 times. And if this will play.
Promotion on the week, and for this one we head to Tennessee. The Nashville Sounds becoming the Nashville Brewskis this weekend. Crack one open, Scoop.
Could use that A. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. The Sounds are the AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, so they are honoring their parent club with a jersey and hat combo that invokes their big brothers, the Powder Blue, in honor of the 70s team that wore them.
I'm not gonna lie, these are pretty fresh here. The cap with the N for Nashville, and the wheat stalk, clearly in honor of one of the most important ingredients in beer that they love oh so much, not just in Tennessee, but in Wisconsin as well.
Especially as a minor league baseball team that's not, mixed into the Sports Center highlights at all times. Another very unique night that we had is we have we had a date night at the Bandbox that we actually ended up doing 3 or 4 more times. So this post right here was a 7-second post on TikTok of a hand reaching into a bucket to grab a wristband and being slapped away. Got more than 5 million views on TikTok. And the idea behind this was you come out here, based on the color of your wristband, you're either in a relationship, it's complicated, you're a wingman, you're here for the vibes, all this kind of stuff. And it was a resounding success with our fan base. We ended up doing 1 a month the rest of the season after the initial one. So just a great example of our creative staff coming up with unique ideas to drive people out here to First Horizon Park. We were also honored a couple of weeks ago in Indianapolis. This nothing to do with this slide, so sorry, this is separate from this. But we were honored. We won our awards in minor league baseball are on brand for who we are. And so some of the awards are golden bobbleheads. And we were awarded a golden bobblehead for our best non-game day event in all of minor league baseball. And it was our Delta Dental Kids Dental Day out here at the ballpark. It was in July. And I think the real reason we won it speaks to Nashville as a community, because what started as we wanted to get underprivileged and underinsured kids an opportunity to see a dentist to get their teeth cleaned or screened has turned into like a true coming together of the community to benefit underserved people here. And so we partnered with City Current. They provide a lot of volunteers. Neighborhood Health provides the dental chairs. Meharry Dental School provides a lot of the students and a lot of the dentists to come out and screen these kids. Adventure Science Center, and then Samaritan's Feet is an organization. So when these kids come out, they get shoes to go back to school with. They get to learn from Adventure Science Center. They get their teeth cleaned, or they get a dental screening. And it turns into this, the whole goal of it is to create this positive experience around going to the dentist. So long term, they have access and positive memories of going through that. So we were awarded the best non-game day event in minor league baseball this year, which I think is a huge thing and a huge testament to our team here. These are some of our theme nights, which are always a great hit. Malmo Oat Milkers is an identity that is through Major League Baseball, through a partnership. It's unique. We're continuing to do it year over year. We love our Salute to Armed Forces Day. Margaritaville Night is always one of the biggest. Our Independence Celebration was our largest crowd since 2019 this year. Stand Up to Cancer is always an incredible celebration of this fight that everyone has against cancer. And Star Wars Night, Harry Potter, and First Responders were all incredible games for us. So we continue to try to move the needle with unique ways to not only connect to community, but appeal to people who have these passions for these different themes. Our daily promotions, you can bring your dog on Tuesdays, Winning Wednesday. You can get a giveaway, as well as, again, I think one of the things that's unique about minor league baseball in general, and we try to stay true to who we are, is value. And you can get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks for $44 on Wednesdays, which in most things you go out to do with a family of 4, you're not getting out of it for $100, let alone 44. And one of the things we're actually really proud of is our average ticket cost for a family of 4 is $91. So we're still under that $100 and trying to add as much value as possible. A bunch of fireworks Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, skipped over Thursday, shouldn't have done that. Hit City Saturday, our big giveaways and just a celebration in Nashville, and then our Sunday Family Fun Days where kids round the bases after the game. And excited to show you guys what we have in store for 2026 as well. This was also the 10th anniversary of this ballpark. We did a lot around celebrating the 10th anniversary of this ballpark. I know it means a ton to so many people in our organization, including our owner, Frank Ward. I'll let you guys look through this stuff because it's a ton of information in your packet. But we really try to make sure First Horizon Park is a place for everyone, and our specialty nights throughout the year really kind of speak to that. I am now going to introduce just a rock star on our staff. Her name is Katie McMullen. She's going to come up. She heads up all of our community efforts here. And you guys hear enough from me, so I thought it'd be nice to hear from the person who does a lot of the work.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry if I'm a little nervous. I'm more of a behind-the-scenes kind of kid, so this is definitely out of my box a little bit. But I started here at the Sounds in January of 2025, so I am new to Nashville and new to minor league baseball, but I am not new to baseball. I came here with community relations background, foundation background, so I'm super excited to continue the work that has already been in place for years, and then to add new things that we're doing and continue to do in the future. But we do have a great partnership with Vanderbilt Monroe Carroll Jr. Hospital, where the players go out and play bingo at the Ryan Seacrest Studios, which is always a player fan favorite. This is the 24th year for our Sertoma Clinic, which is the Sertoma Club of Nashville, puts on for deaf or hard of hearing Metro Nashville public school students. Always a fan favorite. You'll see a photo. There's one right there of Jared Oliva. And Garrett Stallings just had a blast inviting about 40 to 50 kids were able to come out for the day, and that was a great event. We're continuing pop-up baseball. This is the 8th year for pop-up baseball. Access to baseball equipment is very difficult for kids, especially in school districts. That's not a sport that's typically taught in a PE classroom. So making sure that we're getting baseball into kids' hands. So we provide a wiffle ball set that they can take home with them after, but we literally, with our staff and booster, pop up at different locations. We've done elementary schools, we did Boys and Girls Club, and I'm excited, we had a new partnership with the YMCA. So we were able to get to 6 different Middle Tennessee YMCA locations and bring pop-up baseball to them. A lot of them had never even touched a ball before, so it was really cute when they hit that first shot. They're hooked, kind of like golf, but baseball. We continue, Adam had mentioned our partnership with TDOT and our cleanup day, honorary player of the year, Landon, who everybody loved and adored this year.
And I'll interject just for a second to shout out some of our players. Jared Oliva, she mentioned. Landon came to almost every game this year. And in the last week of our season, Jared Oliva on his own organized 4 players and 2 coaches to actually go to Mount Juliet to go to one of Landon's games, which doesn't happen every year, but was really, really awesome.
Everybody was a little confused. They're like, who is this kid and why are all these people like here, all these adult male, that know how to play baseball. It was so sweet. And he did that all on his own. So I think it's a testament definitely to Jared. We continue our TSU Sports Consortium, which we've already scheduled for next year. Super excited to have them back. And then our Hit City Hero, which is our first responder and military recognition during games on a game day. We were able to honor 22 this year with a partnership between MTSU. We had some that, came through us. And then we also reestablished a partnership with Fort Campbell. So getting a little bit further reach and making sure that we're encompassing our entire community. So we all know in sports, random things come up all the time. This was probably, and Adam can speak on this too, one of the highlights, I will say, of my life. So as you guys know, the first week in June was the Nashville celebration of the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. We had a season ticket member reach out and say, hey, I want to set up a meeting with you in the Pentagon. I was like, huh? Like the Pentagon? Like I don't want to be on any list. That's not how this works. So we started planning in February, late January, February. We had 8 to 10 guys from the Pentagon and Quantico came out, and we set up our celebration for Nashville's celebration of the 250th Marine Corps birthday. Throughout that week, it was a little bit exciting. We were lucky to have Folds of Honor game on that Monday. We had the full Marine Corps band, color guard, silent drill team, aircraft, any military vehicles, everything at our access for that game. The silent drill team performance, silent in the entire stadium. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Unfortunately, they had to take off, but several of the groups were still able to stay. On Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't remember, we were offered seats on a Huey helicopter to plan the flyover that was supposed to happen on Friday. So 2 coaches went with us, Tufo and Benel. Adam and I got a seat on the plane, and we got to take a 20-minute tour of Nashville in a helicopter. We were vibrating, I think, when we got back to the office for a couple days. Just an unbelievable experience.
We almost split the uprights on the Batman building.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, they're like, where do you want to go? What path do you want to take? And I'm like, I don't even want to get in this helicopter. I don't know. So it was an exciting event for us. So that was, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. Then they threw at us, hey, the Nashville change of command was happening. Every 3 years, the station here in Nashville will get a new master sergeant. So they were getting ready to promote this year's, new master sergeant. So that was on Thursday. We hosted probably about 150 Marine Corps from local. And then we also were able to host a brigadier general from Cherry Point, North Carolina, was able to come up, and we were able to meet him. But we ended up, the game on Friday was our day, our time to shine. We had the flyover, we had everything set up, let's go, and it rained. So it was a complete rain out. We still were able to get the flyover done, which, Doug was very helpful, and Adam and the city and the FAA and things like that. So 4 months worth of planning, of course, our rainy spring kind of took that out a little bit. But still, I will say, one of the best things I've ever done in my life. So excited to honor them. So also I help oversee the Nashville Sounds Foundation. We're continuing to do our good work, all the money that we raise to stay here in Middle Tennessee and give back out to the public. We're able to capitalize on things we previously done and new events. So being our 10th anniversary, we offered a 10th anniversary memorial bat if you wanted to get a personalized Louisville Slugger. Was an option. A new event we're getting ready to do here in November. If anybody wants to learn how to take care of your lawn or your grass, we're offering a field maintenance clinic for local high schools, athletic directors, little leagues, things like that. But even the general public can come and learn how to take the best care of your lawn. And then we always do jerseys, things like that. And then we have our annual golf tournament at the Hermitage Golf Course, which is always a great time.
Also, the picture in the bottom right is of Renel Delgado. He hit the first home cycle in the history of the Sounds this year.
See Adam hitting. It's always fun, and the sheep are adorable. If you don't know, they have the black-faced sheep there. They walk around. They are not afraid to get into your cart, get popcorn, anything they feel that they deserve or need. But we'll be planning that again for May of 2026 at Hermitage as well. It's a boring video. So here's a little snippet of the 2025 community report. We'll make sure that all of you get that out when it is completed in December. But here's a few little stats that we have. This year we were able to choose 6 different charities, one for each month of the year that we were in season. We were able to choose charities and give them a $5,000 grant donation. We actually surpassed that, and we were able to give out 7 total donations of $5,000. Up there it says of 407 staff volunteer hours. We actually are currently at 495 volunteer hours. The Sounds give us paid time off to go volunteer. Part of my job will pick different parts of the city. We'll pick different charities, whether it's animals or children or things of that nature, make sure that the staff has opportunities to get out and volunteer. So we're shooting to hit, I want to hit over 600 by the end of the year. So we're getting there. 30 game day activations, if not more, thousands of tickets donated to local charities to get them out to games. And we were able to give 4 scholarships to local Middle Tennessee students of $2,500 each. Again, we are doing phenomenal in our fundraising and only get better. So we're looking to either raise that number next year or add more scholarships to it. So I did want to share this video. Jared Oliva, like Adam had said, he's a phenomenal outfielder, veteran, huge community guy. At the end of the year, we award a guitar to the Community Player of the Year. And Jared Oliva was the winner this year. Like Adam said, he was super involved with Landon, but he was always there for any Signature Sunday. He was always there. If he saw a kid, he was coming to say hi. We would do the youth sports lineups. He would go get a bat from the clubhouse for whoever was number 2 and take it out to him and give it to him. Just a phenomenal human being.
Seven bases this year, too.
Yeah, he's kind of good at baseball, too.
The last thing we wanted to touch on is I know I brought up in this meeting the last couple of years the Parkwood project that we've been involved with in North Nashville at the Parkwood Ball Club. We were really excited this year because we actually got to do like an unveiling of the fields. The 2 fields are done. The kids are unbelievable. I'll share a couple of stories about this. I was there last Thursday with Morgan Wallen and his foundation. And he was just out there playing with the kids. It was the first time he was able to see the fields. He wasn't able to make it in August, but the mayor was there. So many great dignitaries, and the 7,000 kids within 2 miles of these parks are playing on fields that are better than any field I've ever played on. It really is a special thing. They had 3 teams from Parkwood this season make it to the state tournament. One of them won the state. The 8U team won the state tournament and went on to a small town in North Carolina to play in the Dixie Youth World Series, where they came in 3rd out of 42 teams. The really special thing about those kids is they played their entire season on the outfield of a field that's our size, that's at this park as well, that is not turfed yet, because the 2 fields that they would normally play on were under construction. And so those kids were the first kids to play on these fields this fall. The whole neighborhood is reinvigorated. And it truly is a testament to so many great community partners coming together. All in all, we raised over $2.5 million to do this. And so much credit goes to Habitat for Humanity and Sherry Stinson and her efforts. Thank you guys very much. But it should be truly transformative for this neighborhood and North Nashville to have access to fields like that. And that concludes our presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
It's nice to find out who's doing all the work over there.
That's right.
That's very kind. Thank you.
So, yes, Director Hogan?
First of all, you did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that this was really impressive. I mean, I look forward to this summary. It blows me away. But one of the things that really stood out is, as a standing policy, to keep your prices under $100 for a family of four makes this park and this team so much more accessible to a larger swath of this community. And I, for one, really appreciate that. I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Not. It's always exciting to get this report. Katie, I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're very comfortable in this space, so you did an amazing job. And thank you, Doug, and you guys for presenting.
Appreciate your time.
Report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along, we will now invite Coming Group, our own Heather Hill, who represents this group. She's going to give us an update this morning. Morning, Heather.
Good morning. So I've got Carzan back up here with me to field any of the hard questions this morning. Which tab?
Tab 6, I think.
6?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, yes, tab 6. So the big thing in our report and the thing we want to highlight this morning is all of the hard work from the mayor's office to East Bank to the Titans to this group. We have finally signed off and closed all, and I'll asterisk but one, of the MOU items that was part of the package you guys approved last, I believe it was September, in the GMP. That was September of 24. So basically, all the groups, all the stakeholders have been discussing path forward for those items. And again, we've been able to come to resolution on all. And I'll get to kind of the asterisk one in just a moment. But that includes the stadium security issues. There's a path forward there. 2nd Street, which has been a large coordination project between many stakeholders within the city as well as East Bank. With the Titans driving there, Interstate Drive, the Plaza retaining wall. If you'll recall, that's the retaining wall that is between Titans and Fallon, so it holds up that South Plaza. Some ancillary items that were developed over time with some parking in the existing stadium site, and then the Plaza kiosk. So I will say that we are definitely at a kind of material agreement. All parties are on what the path forward is. There are some design coordination and things like that still occurring, but there's definitely, and that letter we attached to this report as well as the original MOU, so you would have that. But that letter is at the back, addressed to Dan Worley with the Titans and signed off by Dan and Bob Mendez. So big check mark to get these things resolved and move forward. The final kind of item, and that item, as I understand it from talking to legal teams and reading the MOU and the letter responding to the MOU, the Titans will be coming forward once that is kind of closer to conclusion. That is the bioretention, so the stormwater runoff and things for the stadium. That is still in design and part of a larger discussion with East Bank. So that piece is in what we'd call concept design. They're coordinating utilities, location of, and civil engineers are probably cringe, but a pond. to capture that runoff. But again, that will be a shared solution for not only the Titans but others in that East Bank area. And so that is currently being coordinated. So that one will close a little bit later as we get that design more final. So that is the MOU items. Again, everything's in there, but we are happy to field any questions about the closure of those items.
Thank you. Questions or comments for
Congratulations.
There's a lot to spread around. Like I said, mayor's office, legal teams from all sides, East Bank Titans. There was a lot of folks, and including design team members, that spent many hours making this happen. So applause all around for sure. The next kind of section is design comments. So one of the things that we have kind of held off bringing to y'all is the any addendums. So addendums happen. You guys approved a GMP plan set, and then addendums occur with construction. A lot of times that isn't necessarily major material changes. It's, hey, you show this pipe here, we think it needs to go there, so let's coordinate that. So that's a lot of what happens in the addendums as you start working and start getting into the details. Any material changes that we would notice would need to come in front of this body for approval. And what we're showing in our report is addendum 6 through 16. We believe there are no material changes. Again, we have spent considerable time, not just with our group, but with the design team, through TVS and others, through Titans, through Icon, in making sure that we're under full understanding of what they're showing in these addendums, and that there are no material changes that would need to become in front of this body. So we close those out as well. So that leaves us to, just now we've got 3 kind of open addenda. Again, expect that those are more coordination, and we note here RFI reconciliation, that's request for information. So if the GC or a contractor does not believe they have full information on how to build something, they would issue that request for information, and design would maybe fill in the gap or help them understand better. So that's, again, primarily what we're finding in those addenda. But that is the majority. I will leave the progress update and everything to the Titans for their report. But again, all in all, things are going very well. Schedule, budget, and again, just big thanks to the whole team on transparency. It's making our jobs definitely better, and being able to work together in the flow of information is good.
Great report, and it's great news.
Yes, good news this morning. All right, thank you all.
Thank you. I think our last report will be Nissan Stadium update with Adolfo Birch, Kellen DeCourcy, and Reggie Polk. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, as always, for giving us an opportunity to give you a sort of brief update on the progress on the stadium site and where we think things are going. Today, I think today's report is pretty straightforward, but it does have some exciting information, particularly on the construction end. So if it is okay with everyone, I think we ought to just get into it and have Kellen DeCourcy, our project executive, kick us off.
Good morning, board members. Another exciting and productive month on the new Nissan Stadium. We just continue to put in more work every month than the previous, which is just amazing. We're, as of this week, hit 3.2 million labor hours on the project. This aerial photo really just gives a great perspective of the progress from a top-down look at it. You can really see, you can almost start to see the full circle of our ETFE roof structure, which is created by that compression ring on the outside edge. You're seeing also the progress starting to be made with the roofing membrane that's being laid on the outside edge of the metal deck. That's the material in white that you see. You're also starting to see the continuation of the slab on grade pours that are taking place. The fun fact here is that yellow portion of the vapor barrier that you see there, that's actually underneath the Titans home team locker room. So that continues to progress and then allows us to continue the installation of the lower bowl stadia. As we move on here, another aerial image looking to the west. We're making a big push to top out the steel superstructure. We are actually targeting a celebration for all the work that's been done and celebration for the workers and all their hard work with a steel topping out ceremony that is set for November 21st. So you can see here we're kind of in the stages of the last of the roof steel going in here on the east end of the stadium. Another look back here facing east, again, just starting to take a look at not only are we completing the topping out of the steel structure, we're also seeing a lot of the continuation of the enclosure of the building, metal panel cladding, and the exterior glazing. And then taking a look at all the work that's actually happening inside the building on all the major 7 to 8 major floors of the building. You're seeing here on the left-hand side one of our largest frictionless markets. This is where you can just tap your credit card, walk in and walk out. We are starting to really develop those plans with our partner Amazon's Just Walk Out technology, which you might be familiar with from the airport. So we are starting to see there's about 52 of those individual markets on the concourses. On the right-hand side, that is one of our major entry points of arrival for our fans. This is on the northwest entry. You'll have 2 escalators on either side, and you're starting to see the stringers for the stairs come into shape. On the left-hand side, this is our main entry lobby on the west side of the stadium. Again, you can start to see all the progress on the exterior cladding, all of the amazing views that will be available once we take down existing Nissan Stadium. That will be views to downtown. On the right-hand side is another image of the progress taking place on the concourse. This is on the main concourse. Again, more markets that you see taking shape on the left-hand side. Again, just a little bit of another image of all the exterior enclosure work that's taking place here that you can see on the left-hand side. Glazing, we have glazing and metal panel work that's basically taking place on both the north, west, and south sides of the stadium. And then on the right-hand side, you can start to see that is the lower bowl filling in with the precast stadia pieces that are being set. And then last but not least, didn't want to overlook the other work that's going on outside the stadium. This is just another aerial image to show progress of the East Bank pump station that is being constructed in partnership with Metro Water. Here you'll see this is the 15 million gallon tank that sits below grade. All of the concrete walls have just been poured, so we'll start to see that area being backfilled. And then as Heather mentioned, we're also in the early stages of I don't have any images to share, but we are in the early stages of the 2nd Street roadway alignment project. So we are currently working on the sewer main underground, which is some boring operation that is going in, and then also starting the storm work and the paving will start to take shape on the southern end of that roadway, which ties into Shelby KVB. So that is the construction update for September. Yeah, that's all.
Let me pause, make sure no one has questions about sort of the construction progress. If not, I did want to.
Monica, how many markets did you say?
So there are 52 frictionless markets. That's a combination of the larger walk-in stores to speed lanes, etc.
I did want to take a small point of privilege just to let you know that I was just at the NFL's fall meetings in New York, and I cannot tell you how many clubs came up and asked about the stadium, not only the design, commending the construction and the progress, but also the process by which the deal came together. And so I wanted to make sure I thank this particular body because you guys obviously were instrumental in putting this whole package together and helping this project get off the ground. And so understand that it is being extremely well received by folks who know a little bit about stadiums and know how they go.
Super Bowl.
If you don't think that word came out of my mouth once or twice. So I want to move on. Look, obviously part of the reason that people are excited about this project was all of the stuff around it. And that includes particularly the commitment that everyone had to try to be as broad and as participatory as possible with the firms and the people and the entities that would be able to be a part of this project. So with that background, showing you the numbers for our DBE participation as of this month, you'll see we are now at roughly 140 million. And I will tell you again, it just takes a little look back. Look back in July. At July, that number was, what, 100, less than 100, right? We've gone up 40% since July. We've gone up in terms of the number of firms. We're now at 111. We were at 77 in July. And so, we continue to stack participation. We continue to stack the ability to be inclusive and to get small businesses, disadvantaged businesses, all as a part of this project. And we're extremely excited that we will continue in that, and we still have full expectation and belief that we will get to the goals that we all wanted as we started this project. So with that, let me turn it over to Reggie Polk, who can talk a little bit more about the labor side of it in particular.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I just want to continue with the excitement that's already been shared. Adolfo did an excellent job talking about the high level. I want to get into a little bit more of the weeds of it and just really highlight what we're achieving on this project. So to date, we've had over 5,000 workers on the project. Of that, about 48% have been minority. So about 2,454 have been minority. 10% of that has been female. And we're actually starting to see those numbers increase. So I'm really excited about that. And then also from the Promise Zone, when we talk about Nashville community, we've had 11.7% there. So the work hours to date were about 3.2 million. And so when you look at that number, we're up about 14% on that. And so that's been really strong. But when we think about those work hours, for us, that translates to the safety aspect of the project. And so this is one of the areas that I'm probably most excited about, because we have some really strong statistics that I'd like to share with you. So we have not had any recordables in the past 7 weeks.
That's awesome.
And that's just been phenomenal.
It is great.
That speaks to the passion of our team, the passion of everyone that's on the workforce, that's focused on quality, safety, and building a great stadium for Nashville. So our last recordable was in early September, and now we're tracking, as of the end of September, we were at a 9.3% TRIR rate, our total recordable incident rate. But I'm really excited to share that as of today, we're tracking at about 8.5.
Wow.
Or excuse me, 0.85.
0.85. Yeah.
We were fine. 0.85, just to be clear. But what's so impressive about that number is the industry average is about 2 times higher than where we are. And so, once again, that just speaks volumes to the focus of our team and making sure that everyone comes to work, they're able to earn a living, and they're able to get home safely to their families every day. Also, for the month of September, we wanted to focus on health and wellness. And of that, not only just the physical wellness of everyone that's touching the job site, but also the mental aspect of that as well. So that's extremely important to make sure that physically everyone's doing well, but mentally they're doing well. And we've had counselors and other support people on the job site to make sure that we're able to provide the right resources for all of the workers on the project. So that is a good wrap up for us on the safety aspect.
There was one other thing that I wanted to make sure we talked about, and that was last week was Construction Inclusion Week. And one of the things that the team was able to do was to bring trade partners and community partners in to meet with and talk to the TC2 construction, the workforce training group. That cohort 8 is now in session. In fact, their graduation is tomorrow, and I will renew my general invitation for anyone who wants to come and be a part of that. It's at the stadium. It's a fabulous event to see those families and those cohort members getting their certificates and all of that. But we were able to have not only this sort of open house where people could see and experience the TC2 training and what it was like, but that was followed by a recruitment fair by trade partners for the TC2 cohort to really be able to get networking and experience and to talk to them to really help lean toward the idea of being able to empower them with job and other opportunities following their graduation. So both those things happened last week. They were phenomenal events by all. And I think it is, again, a continued testament to an ongoing desire to keep this project top of mind from an entirety of the community perspective. With that, I think that does probably conclude our report, but we certainly are open to any questions. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. at the stadium.
And also, I just do want to speak on the fact that to have 0 recordables in a few weeks, I think that is a major testimony to the way you all have learned from different incidents and taken those serious. So that is magnificent. One more thing, well, actually 2. The large cranes that's within the stadium. My daughter has a question, and she's like, "Mommy, how are they going to get that out?" I was like, "That's a great
We didn't really
question."
think about that.
I was like, I think they have that figured out already. So it's just impressive to see how this project has come along so fast, and it's a couple of people that know that I'm on a board, and they have questions for me, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great question. So, but I just think that is a great deal for Nashville to gain the attention that it is gaining from everything that is happening throughout all of our professional sports. So I think it's just a wonderful thing to be a part of, to see how it's all taking place.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question. Are you able to have your people send us information about the graduation tomorrow, particularly like how we might engage, like show up? I'm curious to know if I might, if I'm able to attend, if I might bring someone with me.
Okay. No, we'll make sure we get information to you as soon as this meeting's over.
Okay, thank you.
And I would just like to say, job well done under health and mental health being such an important issue. Good job that you all are looking out for the people that have someone to talk to, and express themselves. So I really like to hear that.
Any other questions, comments? If not, I'll just go on record saying that I'm very happy to see the DVE numbers and the workforce development numbers. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction, and we as a body appreciate, your commitment to meeting the goals that we've set forth. So, job well done, and great job of getting this building up.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, so I think that's the last agenda item. So this concludes the agenda.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I have one note. I see our friends from the Nashville SC here, and we have to note that we are in the playoffs, and what a tremendous season. We're rooting for you, and just wanted to say congratulations.
Thank you for that. Thank you for catching that. We're excited, and you guys continue to make Nashville look good, so we appreciate it. Again, we want to thank First Horizon Park and the Nashville Sounds for hosting this morning. We thank the Finance Committee for meeting, our board, the staff, and all of our presenters We will meet again on Thursday, November 20th at Geodis Park, and the Finance Committee will meet prior to that meeting, so look for that information. If there are no final comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Consider yourselves adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
Great job.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.